Welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys fear to tread. What are you doing, guys? How you been riding? Getting the miles in?
100%, as
Yep.
always. 100%.
Yep.
It's filming this it's an amazing motorsport day that we've had. We have, what is it, Le Mans Series racing. We've had Formula One. We've had MotoGP, and we've IndyCar tonight. So I'm gonna be like flat out, and I'm like really super excited that the big boys racing starts tomorrow.
Yep. I saw that.
The Isle of Man TT.
Oh, the Isle of Man.
Yep.
When the men were men and the sheep were scared.
And still fucking scared, I can tell you, and it's funny with the way, what was it, Guy Martin once said, or someone once said, because people were giving out about the Isle of Man, people going there and killing themselves or whatever, and like, look, you go cut the grass and leave us go sort this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so the race.
There was a short, one of shorts on the YouTube, and it was like, it's the most dangerous thing. It had it's
No, it is. Like,
dies every year. And it had Americans go sit in your lounge chairs and we'll be men,
Yeah.
You'll sit there and waste away fearing when the day you're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's like most people are today. They won't even get on a bike, they're so scared.
Leave them alone.
That makes you kind of respect it a little bit more, that you can die from it, like like football and everything else. The chances of you getting killed from playing football or any other sport is kind of low, but the motorcycle, TT is dangerous, so that's why I kind of different kind of respect.
It's next level dangerous.
In your life makes life worth living. It just makes you appreciate the life.
Yeah, but look, there's also the thing, Jacob. When you do a sport that like circuit racing is dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Road racing is far more dangerous than circuit racing.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And you're running a limit that is very much so closer. Like, it's very, I won't say very rare, but when you come off on a road, you're going to get seriously injured. Mm-hmm. It's very rare. It is very rare that you come off and you're fine. On a circuit, it's very rare that you get seriously injured. You
have a runoff and everything.
You come off and you're normally fine. So look, it's a different thing. It's a different mentality. TT is starting tomorrow. I would probably do some stuff through TT practice week and TT week itself. We also have Mugello this weekend as well coming up. So we have a back-to-back race this week, which is always good. But I suppose we will talk about this weekend's race. So one of my favorite tracks to go and sit and watch. I hope you kind of understand why. There's like a number of places around that track where you can see multiple corners. And for me, this track, it tests a rider. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it finds out, are you weak on the left side? Are you weak on the right side? Are you weak in slow corners? Are you weak in fast corners? How big are your balls, or how small are your balls?
Rider's track.
Yeah, and it very much so is. If it had more grip, it would just be brilliant. But so
and it always, I never could figure out why. Okay, and somebody has to know out there why. It probably has something to do with the rubber on the track. How you can have a slippery track that also chews up tires? You think one would correlate to the other?
No.
I know it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like, it's not actually the track is slippery. It's the temperature of the track makes it slippy.
Oh,
so like today at the start of the race was 40 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Track temperature 40 whatever degrees. And then like the running was at medium to soft compounds, and quite literally with the heat and the tires, like every single tire there was literally understeering, and it was you could just see the
tracks have the same grip at the same temperature though.
No, different asphalt, different. Yeah. Like that track would be mainly, mainly Formula One type asphalt. Do you know what I mean? Which is not really worried about an inch and a half's worth of grip. Do you know what I mean? It's more so worried about. But no, it's like for me, like yesterday's sprint race, I thought was brilliant. There was at one point I was like, does anyone actually want to fucking win this race? It was just like anyone took over the lead of the race, you were going to visit the gravel trap, and you know
that was my question. I was going to ask you from yesterday. It's like every time someone broke free from the pack, you know, they start. I don't know if maybe they're pushing too hard or whatever, but they just lose it. You know, Raul Fernandez, man, he was in the back of my mind. Like there's something there with him.
The thing that I was delighted with Raul Fernandez, and I know this sounds really harsh, right? I was delighted to see his reaction in the gravel trap when he crashed.
Yeah.
You did,
because you could see the fucking pain of not of the crash, of like shit. I let an opportunity go, and I was like, I've been very harsh and very critical, and I was like, okay, this boy still wants to be a racer. Do you know what I mean? And I'll give him that. Do you know what I mean? I give him, you know. And look, as I've been very vocal, you know, with I don't see the magic around Raul. Brad Binder, what a fucking weekend for Binder. Did anyone see his weird crashes on Friday when he was going through 1 and 2 and the front of the bike just fucking lifted in the middle of the corner, and it just
it's all that.
It was just like I was just like, ooh, yeah, like look, I don't know, and then Pecco's one was a really strange one because he was up on that first sector going into turn 5, and like I'm like, you have a 0.7 of a second gap. Why are you pushing that hard?
I don't think he pushed that hard. I don't.
No, Jake. He was pushing because he was up on the fastest lap of the race.
Really?
He was going for fastest lap, I reckon, and he duffed it.
So why is he pushing though? Why does he didn't need to push?
That was the question. Why did he push? Why was he pushing? Like he was up on the time sheet.
By the way, him and his crew chief said he wasn't pushing, but
he was up at the times. So if you're up on the fastest lap of the race, you're pushing. I don't care what anyone says.
You know, if you're going and you do a lap and you go flat 7 seconds, whatever, 70 seconds, and then you do 70, 70, that's still, you still might be flying, but you're not pushing, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but that pace that he wasn't pushing, but
like he held a 0.7 of a second gap for a while, you know what I mean? And that gap then went out. Do you know what I mean? So like he did lunge forward. So like he was in my view, he might have felt comfortable, but he was going faster than he was, and the stopwatch never lies, you know. So
I was going to ask, with the stopwatch, did he increase on that lap or?
He was like 0.2 up in the fastest lap. Yeah, that's what we said a minute ago. We said he was, whether he was inadvertently pushing, he was pushing. He was going faster than what he was. And you know, look, I think it's only fitting for that. Aleix Espargaro, after announcing his retirement, won the sprint race. I thought it was like, yeah, man, you know, take it away with you. I don't Marc Marquez, and I got some shit on this channel after about Marc Marquez. I think Marc's race today was better than his race yesterday, by far.
Okay. I saw 1/2 dozen of the other, but you checking the time.
No, because after turn 2, Marc was in 7th or 8th place. Okay, so he got turn 1 right, and let's be fair, right? Catalunya turn 1, it's luck. Do you know what I mean? What side of the track you end up on, it's luck. If there's a fucking crash on inside of turn 1 or outside of turn 2, whichever way it was. There was some argy-bargy, but he was on the right side, and that was an instinctive thing. He passed, I think he was 7th place, so he started 14th, so he halved the gap in turn 1 and 2, between turn 1 and turn 2. And after that, he was on the back of the pack. He was 1.2 seconds off the leader at the end of lap 1.
Okay.
So he was onto the group. Then we had, what was it, 3 or 4 people crash in front of him?
Okay.
So how many did he actually pass?
Hmm.
In a race situation, right? Turn 1, you can see turn 1 in the sprint, people went wide, he went tight. Done. You look at today's race, he came out of he ended lap 1 in 10th or 11th, but he was 2 seconds behind the race leader. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now he had more passing to do. Now he had to take people on. Now he had to save his tire. He was also on the soft tire.
Yes.
You know, so for me, when I'm looking at it, now it was fucking shit. Now he had to pass 7 people. Do you know what I mean? And for me, when I'm looking at it, that was a better race for him because he managed the tire, he managed the situation, he managed the bike, and I think he did really, really well. I think, and that's what some of the idiots that left those comments yesterday didn't see in the race was that Mark made majority of those passes in. Well, I won't even call it a pass, right? Because everyone was. You never call turn 1 a pass unless it's actually for a position, right? But people went wide. Mark went around the outside of, or inside of 1, outside of 2. And he stayed away from danger, which was sensible. But saying that, if someone rode across in front of him, he wouldn't have been able to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's luck. Whereas I think in today's race, he earned it. Do you know what I mean? In the way that, like, he had to pass these people. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't too many fell off in front of him. Maybe Miller. Was it Miller? Miller was in front of him? I think Miller, maybe. But yeah, well, look, I think it was like I think it was a really, really good race from him. Both races were good, but I was like,
I was gonna say that.
Morbidelli held him up for like 3 laps, and Morbidelli held him up today for forever. And then it was like Morbidelli, his goal in life was to stay ahead of Marc Marquez. But as soon as Marquez passed him, he fell back to like 0.
Morbidelli, he crashed her.
Yeah.
It's
But no,
such a waste of bike.
Yeah, but just for some people to understand, I don't hate Mark, but I'm a very real person. I watch races and I understand what is going on. And I can see how you would say rider of the day and he made 4 passes. Do you know what I mean? 4 actual passes. So that's the way I am. I don't expect everyone to agree with me, but that's where I would judge a rider of the day. Or if he did something that was absolutely a cut above the rest, out thought someone, or like Pecco's strategy in the main race, that was just fucking epic. And I sat there and I was like, in the weekend that's in it, right? Because there's a lot of stuff going on about Ayrton Senna and this. I sat there and I was looking at Pedro Costa and Martin ahead of Pecco, and I was just like to myself, I was like, he's found his pace that he knows that he can save his tires, and he's just going to run it.
Yep.
And the 2 boys were going that little bit faster, and they were burning.
You'd have taken a poll, right, at that moment when there was just when it was Martin and Pecco, right, when the Costa crashed. 95% of the people said it's done. Martin's faster. He's going to win. Because he's faster the 2 guys. I don't know. It almost seems like it depends on the moment, or it depends on the race or the day. Who's faster, Bagnaia or Martin?
It seems, but like you could see very early in the race for the lead anyway, right? When the lads came past Pecco normally fucking shoots straight at him, right? But he was like, I'm going to leave them off. And like that lead of Martin's went out like to 1.1 or 1.2, 1.3 seconds, right? So that's not an easy lead to pull in. Do you know what I mean? But you could kind of see the gears in Pecco's head going, I'm saving my tire, save the tire, save the tire, save the tire.
Yes.
And like with I think it was 9 laps to go, Pecco put in a lap, and you're like, okay, the fucking 1.2 seconds. And you could see like a fuck, like half a second went out of that, and then he just closed in on him, and then he pulled 1.7 from him. Do you know what I mean? In 5 laps, and you're like going, he always had this in the bag. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He was just.
You
But
gotta
saying that,
think that Bagnaia has to be the best rider on the track for controlling his speed. I don't think there's a person out there who can turn a light switch on like he does and go, okay, now I'm going to go 4/10, or now I'm going to go half a second faster.
well, like
Plan it.
Mark, to be fair, Mark would be able to do that, right? But Mark, and I have to like,
Yeah, well, he's experienced. He's a
he is experienced. But look, it was great. How would I say it? Look, it was a great race, in a tactics race, and it kind of brought me back, just to circle back to it. And like I thought of Ayrton Senna, but Ayrton Senna's arch enemy or nemesis was a driver called Alan Prost,
His
who was
teammate.
who was also known as the Professor, right? Where Senna was the raw speed and fucking grit and I'll put the car in the middle of the track and you can decide, are we going to have an accident?
He was
You know
aggressive.
what I mean?
From what I've seen.
Whereas Prost was a real tinker and put thought into the strategy and how I'm going to make you run wide and take your position and stuff like that. So it was, but you're going to run wide yourself. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to just force you from behind to run wide. So for me, it was a really, it brought back a lot. Now, you know, Mark was still 8 seconds though off Pecco. You know, that's a lot. And that would be kind of the only thing that where I was kind of going like, if we looked at yesterday's sprint was a higher pace, but like roll it back, you know, Mark would have finished third again, but he still would have been a good chunk behind the race leader. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's what I said in our WhatsApp group yesterday. Mark didn't have the pace to win the race. Do you know what I mean? He had good pace.
Yeah.
But he didn't have pace to win the race, which I was surprised at, because I thought looking at his pace on Friday, I was like, he'll easily get into qualifying one, right? And he didn't. And then when he got into qualifying two, I was like, yeah, look, he'd definitely get in there. Like, and he can't. And you look at his last few races,
he
hasn't got in there. So, which is weird. So, kind of tells me that that bike is not set up for out and out speed. It's set up to protect the tires and protect Mark. Do you know what I mean? From overusing those tires.
We need to see Mark get into a front row situation, or at least a second.
Yeah.
But I think that's the problem, Jake. If he sets the bike up for a fast run at it, right, he won't be able to make those tires last, and he gets into front row. It takes him a couple of laps to get going. Do you know what I mean? Get the heat in, get him solved. It's kind of a little bit like Pecco was last year, actually. Do you remember we used to be like, what the fuck is he doing for 3 or 4 laps before get the heat into everything and then push? Whereas this year he's turned around and he's able to go from lap 1.
More speed. He has more speed. Yeah, he used to qualify in the back. I always questioned that last year. Why is he qualifying so far back? You know.
Yeah. But look, it like for the top 3, they're both races there. It definitely shows why Mark is a world champion so many times. It definitely shows why Pecco, and it definitely shows why Jorge Martin is justifiably leading the world championship. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Pecco came past him. You could kind of see Martin was like, okay, he's closed in at 1.2 seconds. He's definitely going to be faster than me. I'm going to take the points and we'll live and fight another day. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a good thing for him.
Yeah. A lot of different strategies this year. I like that. I like the strategies, you know. So I think this year may be I don't want to say it's the best year, but
strategies are great till they get boring. Do you know what I mean? Until they create a boring race of like, okay, so we're now going to give you 75% throttle for the first 13 laps, and then after that, you know. So it started the race, interesting. Then you go for a nap, set your alarm for 5 laps from the end, wake up and watch it. It's called Formula 1.
Yeah, they do that in Formula 1 all day long. That's what they do.
Yeah. So look, it's just dangerous in that way. Pedro Costa. Look, I just love the kid. I think he's absolutely fucking hilarious. Like,
Oh, no, how can you dislike Costa? I mean, really?
yeah, but some people do. Some people don't like him at all. But
Really?
yeah, I
Women
just
don't
think,
like him. I don't think that, but that's because he can sneak up in a glass of water.
yeah. He gets excited with a glass
What
of
makes him
water.
so fast? They told him he get laid if he wins. Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, I genuinely love his approach to racing, and you know what I mean. He's cocky, not arrogant. Do you know what I mean? And he's able to walk that fine balance. And like looking at him, like Sunday's race, crashes, nearly touches the tires. He goes so deep into the gravel, he picks the bike up, gets the bike out of the gravel, and he still beats the Hondas home.
Yes. Oh my God, is that embarrassing?
Do you know what I mean? And like there he was, and he's just like, and you know, you have no doubt he's gone back. He's sitting down, chilling out, going, yeah, fuck, I'll show him it was. But what is very unique about him, I don't know where you're watching, is his lines. His lines are so weird. He rides a defensive line all the time. Like he turns into the corner so early, washes through the corner. And you're just like, you know, if you turned in maybe like a quarter of a second later, just a quarter, you would hit the apex much sweeter at a higher pace. And away you go. And like, you know, there's many times that the camera was on the bike behind him, or he was on the camera was on his bike behind someone else. And he thought that he was having a go, but he was not actually having a go. He was just riding his own line, do you know what I mean? Which was turning like 3-4 feet inside where a normal bike would turn. I just thought it was like, it's really weird, and it's probably what's causing some of his front end issues now. Well, like, sorry, he's not having front end issues. It hasn't dented his confidence, but through why he's probably losing it is because he's pushing it too hard.
Mm-hmm.
But he's some boy for fucking racing. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, those KTM's are fast. They are the fastest bikes in MotoGP right now.
Well, Aleix passed Brad Binders on the straight.
I don't know, man. I'm not seeing what I want to see out of them. I don't know if it's a rider thing.
The Aprilia did make a jump up. Is it my imagination? They just went faster.
No, I think they were able to get the last corner sweet. Do you know what I mean? So they had to drive out onto it. But
the setup for this track is good.
But the KTM's they're you know, it's so funny. Like Brad had a fucking pig of the weekend in Le Mans, and he's had a pig of a weekend this weekend again. You know,
what is it? Is it the bike or the rider? I hate to throw the blame, but something's going on over there.
Everybody likes him, but you know what? He stays done. He's never been that fast to begin with. Let's face it, guys.
Who is that, Brad or who?
No. I thought you were talking about
not Jack.
What's his face? No. The Australian everybody loves.
Jack.
Yeah.
Well, look, yeah, we'll talk about Jack in a minute. But no, Brad just keeps crashing, which is, I suppose, you know, look, I prefer to crash out of first place than ride around and finish 16th. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's a good mentality to have, but it's like, you're the big hope of the brand, and he is. Remember, they have secured Brad services to the end of 26.
Oh, he signed. Did he sign or
they signed him up for 4 years or whatever last year? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. That's a good idea,
but like he was one of the ones that was getting the absolute best out of that bike. Pedro has come in and made them look slow. Now, look, he was battling, Brad was battling with Pedro, but, you know, who do you remember after the race? Do you know, they both crash out. Who do you remember? You remember Pedro, right? Do you know what I mean? you have Jack, who has been in no uncertain terms told by Pit Buyer that he needs to pull his finger out of his arse and get going. They haven't done enough to retain a seat in MotoGP, and that's what they said. Not the factory team. No, they also said we would like to keep our riders, but they haven't. Augusto and Jack haven't done enough to do that, which is, I think it's fair. Look, I don't think I don't think it's unfair on what they're saying about Jack. Jack is a lovely guy. Will 100%. Joe, he's one of those fellas. If you got in a fight, he would 100% back you up.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Others would flinch and run away. Jack's there for the.
And it's hard to feel too bad for him when they give you a couple $1 million a year. It's not like it's going to work again.
Yeah, but look, it's as a biker, that when you get on a bike and it might be their last time that you get on that bike.
Yeah, I know.
It's different.
I want the old Jack back. I want the one when he was in Ducati and he would come back to the box, and maybe we're just not seeing that part, but he was just like telling them, hey, I need this, I need that. That's what it looked like. He was come back to the box and get with the mechanics or whoever and say, hey, I need this. This is what I'm feeling. We got to make this adjustment or whatever.
You're looking for a setup, man.
I don't know what's going on over there, but I want him to come alive, basically. And or maybe he is. Maybe we're just not seeing that. But I would love to see him come back to the box and really get with the mechanics and figure out a solution. I don't want to see him, drop down. But,
yeah, I think it would look. There's not a lot of characters in the MotoGP paddock that are out there, right? Do you know what I mean? And there's not, right? Like, and he'd be one of those ones that you would lose. Yeah, the sport would move on, but again, it's a shame to lose a good character. He's a good enough rider, lads. Like, he's not shit, right? He would battle with the best of them on his day. But look, yeah, he is under pressure now, and like he's openly admitted himself, he's like, if I could pause the contract talks right now, I would. Do you know what I mean? And that's telling you what the pressure that he's under. What I was genuinely surprised by this weekend, though, was the Aprilias.
Yeah.
Like Trackhouse Racing, Sprint Saturday was fucking terrible for them. They both crashed out. Raul was leading the race. That was a bit of, I think, Davide Brevio was having fucking kittens when Raul was leading the race. Aleix, I can't take anything away from Aleix. Like, he announced his retirement. Emotional weekend, and it was actually funny that we were kind of talking about it only recently. We were like, it's very apt that he comes out and he said, I decided to retire when I hit the wet spot in Jerez. I called my wife and I was like, it's done. I'm not thinking. And it's kind of funny that we were also talking about recently that a rider gets to a stage of where he wants to be at home with his kids rather than traveling around the world, and it's the right call that he's made. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a team that are giving their 110% for you, and you're even 1% short of giving it your maximum, then it's time. It's time to leave. It's time to say, something, lads. You might love me and I might love you, but I can't give it 100%. I can give it 95%, and that's where I think
the bike's better than the I am. Is what he's saying. The bike's better than he knows.
Well,
it too.
yeah. He's just not willing to push it that far anymore. Do you know what I mean? Now, I thought it was fitting he got a Captino or something written, but in the kind of a Aprilia style. So it's like all black but a red A, which I think was class. It was good. But again, with him, like Aleix was flying, and then Maverick, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with him. I genuinely don't know what the fuck is wrong with him. Like,
I know. I saw it up on like 15th. What the? This is the guy a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's saying, "Oh, we should re-sign him." You know,
sign him to Ducati. He's the
Yeah.
fucking next big fucking and they're
Yeah.
like, you know, I hope they haven't signed him. Do you know what I mean? Because like, and Aprilia are in the KTM side of things, right? Like even with any Bastianini that's really hotly rumored and tipped to go there, they're not getting that alien.
no,
Like you look at a Costa, right? You put an alien on a good bike and they'll bring it to that next level. Like Acosta's up there majority of the time battling with the leaders. The others are not. Right? It depends on what side the Aprilia riders get out of the bed.
yeah,
And one of them might be up there. But while one of them's up there, the other one is fucking fading away.
That's so weird. That is so
it's
weird.
So frustrating to watch it. You know, like such a great bike. And again, look, I was looking at Laverty the other day, and he was doing like a little review of the Aprilia bike and whatever. And he was talking about the pitot tube on the front of the Aprilia. So they measure the airspeed as well as the GPS speed and whatnot of the bike. Do you know what I mean? To correlate everything, and you're like, these guys are so advanced, right? Like fucking so advanced. And then you have three riders battling for a Ducati. Well, two really, three, but two aliens battling for a Ducati seat.
Yeah.
Like if I were KTM and Aprilia, like I'd be going to the bank and saying, I need a loan, and I need a serious loan for 2 years or 3 years, you know, to get these aliens over here and give them a bike to have a go with. Like, it is interesting. I still don't see, like, I've read so much about Mark going to Ducati or Martin going to Ducati or Mark going to Pramac and Martin going to Ducati factory, and you know, I'm actually like, will you just make up your fucking minds and just pick? You know, but
Aprilia, he is going to run the whole show. You know what I mean? If you want to be an alien and you want to be head honcho and you want to be chief cook and bottle washer, that's the place to go. You want somebody who will listen to you, you know, if he comes in there and says jump, they're going to say hi.
There and every time, not just fucking once, like every single fucking time you say jump, they'll say fucking how high. And like, but I think KTM and Aprilia will be just like that. Do you know what I mean? Like if they get that superstar rider in, now is Pedro Acosta ready to be that superstar rider? I don't think so yet, right? And hear me out in this, right? He is very, very fast. But he has no idea how to develop the bike. He is riding a bike that's probably the same bike that he started the season with. Do you know what I mean? And he gets the development parts that are developed. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't get them.
He gets the safety tape, the black and yellow tape, and they put it around the bike. And then you go, okay, it's done. You ride it. There you go.
Right. That's the best way. I mean, that shows you right from the gate if he has anything, you know, if he has like maybe an ounce of an alien or whatever.
Set it up for you. You just ride it. You know what I mean?
You just ride it. Figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. But that's all he has to do. Do you know what I mean? That's all he has to do. Whereas you're looking at the likes of Pecco and all of them, they're trying to figure this fucking bike out, right? Do you know what I mean? And Pedro's like, no, Pedro, you just focus on changing gear, braking, and accelerating. That's all you focus on. Okay. Yep. Do you know what I mean? No, he is.
Stop.
Yeah, but like he is gifted, right? We won't take that away from him. But you know, Yamaha.
Oh man,
Yamaha have something big to bring out after the Mugello for the Mugello test. Something big is what Rin said.
Something big.
Something
Okay.
big. Yeah. Now look, I don't know, man. I look at Yamaha and I'm just like,
See, there's two kinds of engineering. That's why I hate to do things. You have engineering to innovation and progression, and that's a very hard thing to do. But then there's the other side, like MV had, where you're saying you're trying to get blood out of a stone, where the thing is, okay, this shouldn't work. We know what this thing to work better than it's ever worked before. Like when you cut down boards, things of that nature, which means it's not really progressing. You're just trying to make silk purse out of a sow's ear. Not that it's not easy, but that's that's what Yamaha's at. Yeah, that inline four, and they're going, okay, we need to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. You run into that dead end and say, what do we do now?
Mm-hmm.
So I know we talk about the Yamaha Cup and the engineering come and all of this, right? And I look at things a little bit differently, right? Yamaha, and I'm a Yamaha man, right? And I should never be saying this, right? But I want to always be very straight and fair with Yamahas and this, that, and the other, right? So I took the Repsol Honda team.
Fanboy bit to you at all.
Huh?
I got to give it to you. You haven't been fanboy at all. You've been shooting straight with him.
Yeah, but like I look,
if they fuck up, you say, well, they screwed up.
yeah, but like I look at Fabio Quartararo, right? And I actually think Fabio Quartararo's results are null and void, right? Because 90% of it is Fabio. Well, 99% of it.
Yep.
And here's where I go to it, right? Because if I look at the second rider in Yamaha, right?
Right.
The second rider, how many points does the second rider in Yamaha have?
Let me check.
I can tell you, he has 7.
You got it. Yep, 7. Yep.
So Fabio has 32 points, and right, Fabio is a quantified alien.
Yes.
Yep, 32. Okay.
So let's put that in perspective.
I think if you had Quartararo on a Ducati, he would beat both. He would beat Bagnaia and Martin.
But no, so let's quantify this in a different way. If you put Fabio on a Honda, no, just listen to me. Would Fabio be the fastest Honda rider?
Supposedly, yeah.
Right. So let's look at the second rider in Honda.
Mm-hmm.
The second rider in Honda is Johan Zarco on 9 points. Right? So the way I class this is both bikes are shit.
Yeah. Yep.
And you can talk about better engineering here, better engineering there. There's 2 points in it because you have to take the alien out of it. So we took the first rider of Honda out, which is Johan Mir on 13 points. Second Honda rider is Zarco on 9 points. Then you have Nakagami on 8 points. Rins on 7. Like Danny Pedrosa has only turned up one weekend and he's level on points with Rins.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Stefan Bradl has no points. Marini has no points. Do you know what I mean? So, like the way I look at it, right? So, yes, Honda and Yamaha need to bring something big to the Misano or the Mugello to Misano. Why do I keep saying Misano?
I think they need a spray can, red spray paint with Ducati emblems.
But no, it's a good way though for me that I look at the performance of the bike, right? Because at the end of the day, right, you can look at the likes of Fabio Quartararo. Like, if you put Mir and Fabio on the same bike, who's winning? Fabio,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like if you put Fabio on a Honda and race him against Mir, Fabio technically should win. You put Mir on a Yamaha, Fabio should still win, right? So we take those two out of the equation, who are their top level go-to riders, let's just call it, and then we see where the rest of them are, and it's like I've used this philosophy to judge a manufacturer all the time. Is like, where does their number 2 rider finish?
Yeah.
How far ahead or how far behind? And we did this with the Honda, Jake, for years to track the downturn or the downturn of Honda.
Yeah.
And when I look at, forget about the manufacturer's points, forget about anything else other than the number 2 riders, where are they in the championship and how many points do they have? And there's 2 points in it. They're both shit.
Right.
I'm Yamaha man. And it kills me to say it, but again, I have to be truthful. Like, on it, I love Yamaha to bits to the end. I'm fond of Honda. I'm not a fanboy of Honda, but I would be pushed to buy a Honda. Maybe a Honda 50, just to rekindle the old love of crashing my first crash.
What's killing them, I can't believe, is their retail bikes are going to crap too. Like reliability wise and all. They're just, I saw it. You're Norwest 400, right?
200.
200, excuse me. 400, what am I saying? The Oh My God website. The guy was what's his name? Charlie. The guy. Now who's who runs Oh My God website?
I don't know.
No, I don't think it's the Charlie. I think it's I don't know.
Elio or whatever. You've known him. He's an old racer.
Not Hewen.
It's Keith Hewen, right? And he goes, he was, and he's really tender with Honda when he says, and he says, oh yeah, they had problems with the RRRs because they had heating problems, and one of them was the fill plug, plastic ones were melting into the engine. They have never fixed that engine for the heating problem. You know how hot do you have to have an engine case to have the thing melt into it? Because there's air going.
Yeah. Look. To be honest,
that thing is a mess. Anyhow,
I don't watch other podcasts or other channels. I like to stay unbiased.
Yeah, but the bike is a mess, and they're not doing anything about it. They're more and more.
I don't know though. It's pretty quick in the Northwest 200. To be fair to it, it held together well in a place where you want it to fucking hold together. It held together well.
I didn't see it. I was going up him. He says they're having problems with it. They're blowing up all over. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know it's known for blowing up from overheating.
Yeah. But look, it is what it won't overheat in Ireland anyway, lads. I'll tell you that. No, nice and fucking thing. So
too cold.
Cold and wet. Do you know what I mean? She'll stay cool. So it'll be fine. I was going to say, but yeah, look, Honda and Yamaha. So Yamaha are supposed to be bringing out something big. They were using the triple decker front wing, which I don't know. Was it the smartest place to be using it when it was a big, dirty, long, kilometer-long straight nearly? Do you know? Do you know what I mean? You're like, anyway, and lots of twisty bits because, as you can imagine, like a big front wing like that takes a lot of force to move it. Like, do you know what I mean, from side to side. So, I'm not sure was it the right place to bring it now. During this week, we obviously have the Isle of Man practice, but next weekend we have Mugello. What an absolute diamond of a circuit. It's one of those circuits. It
is my favorite.
You need to ride before you die. And if you do happen to die upon it, that's a nice place to, nice view, the Tuscan hillsides. But it's just an absolute.
They come across the painted lines, the red, white, and green lines. Cut that in early, and then they come back into this track again. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's like my favorite part on that straight.
One last thing, David Emmett. Okay, like I said, you don't watch him, but David Emmett's one of the best expert MotoGP analysts ever. And he was talking about Catalunya, and he goes. The famous Roberts, there's famous Rossi and Lorenzo race
in turn 10, or last turn.
When you look back at it, it isn't as exciting as you saw it like the first time. And he goes, the reason that is, and they were talking about going back to these new rules, and he goes that that was the 800s, and we were so used to the bikes being spread out. Like, it was common to have 5 and 6. Somebody comes across, the winner goes across, and then 5 seconds later, here comes the second bike, and 5 seconds later comes in third. It spread the bikes out so far that first off, we were excited somebody was just together. They were running close race. Okay, then we actually got a good race out of it. So we were so starved for watching races that thing came along, and we thought it was.
I would holistically disagree with that.
Oh yeah, the 800 sucked.
No. But with that, we were starved of racing and whatever.
Well, we were starved of short.
That race from the get go, you knew something was fucking up. Like, Rossi wanted to shove it down Lorenzo's fucking throat at home.
Right.
That was Laguna Seca 2007 or 2008, when we were looking at Stoner a second ahead of everyone else, and like, I remember watching it on Eurosport, and the two commentators said, "Well, this is a race for second." You know what I mean? Stoner's going to clear off, and you're like, so I would wholeheartedly disagree with him. Like, there were some really good races in the 800s, some very fucking boring races. I will say that too. But that race, Jorge came out dressed in his Barcelona fucking outfit, and Rossi was like, "Right, fucker, you're getting it." Do you know what I mean? And that was it, right? So, and the moves, man, the fucking moves. Do you remember Rossi pulling his knee in out of the brake zone, going up onto the curb, and then swooping down in front of fucking Like, you're like, and then coming through the corner.
They weren't good races, but they were not like today. They were few and far between.
But when you go back to those days, Jake, right? There was 2, maybe 3 riders that would be aliens or on alien type equipment. Like, realistically,
so far apart that it didn't make a difference if you're alien or not. They were all spread the hell out. And I could never figure out why they were really that spread far out.
Well, no, yeah, I think you're a little bit wrong in that, right? I think Yamaha bikes were quite close actually during the 800s. Yamaha did have the best bikes. Honda weren't great. Do you know what I mean? Kawasaki were turning up. Suzuki were in and out. So I think in the 800s there was only but the Tech 3 Yamahas were fucking 3 miles behind in development. You know what I mean? There wasn't the bikes on the grid that are at the same level.
Was that the one we had? Did they also have with the 800s? Fresh memory. Is that when they also had what did they used to call them? You could run a stock motor. Like, you could run a super bike motor.
CRT, yeah.
CRTs, yes. That's in with it.
I don't think so. I think that was when it came back to the thousands, wasn't it? But like, for me, like, the 800s, it wasn't the best racing. There were some really good races though in it. Like, and like, I would disagree with your man say that we were race starved. There was just some tracks where that naturally happened. It naturally happened, right? And those were normally very fast flowing tracks where where you would lose half a second in one corner because you're not keeping your speed up. Do you know what I mean? I think this time might be a bit different. I hope anyway. But
yeah, but I can.
You there?
Seconds behind.
Hold on, say that again.
I said I can remember many a race where there were 5, 6, 7 races between the first and second place. There was a lot of stretched out races, Mac.
Oh, there was a lot of stretch out races. But look, we've seen, Jake, and I'll be very honest, we've seen races this year that it's been, you know, I'll put on the old the lights there, or get the old covers there and go to bed and go to sleep in the middle of the race. It's boring, like, do you know what I mean? And there has been, you know, and then the last 5 laps it wakes up and said, "Poof," do you know what I mean? And it was actually, what one was it? It was 2 races ago. I was like, I wasn't enthused about the main race, do you know what I mean? Because it comes into.
I remember one, but that's about it. I forget which race it was, though.
Well, yeah, but we're only 5 races or 6 races into the season, and we have one. Like, but what? Or I have no, it's 1 or 2. But like, our races now in MotoGP,
it just wasn't as good as the other ones.
Well, no, it was. They were. It was not. It's not that they were stretched out, but it was just no passing, or not no passing. It was just. It was just a bit meh, right? And like I think we're in a really good patch of racing. I don't think it's the best patch of racing. Like I remember some of the rivalries, and I like I look, and for me, they all like each other, and I have a problem with them all liking each other.
And
So when you're battling, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you know, it's like
you want them to punch each other in the mouth on the backstage.
yeah, like why like each other? Do you know what I mean? You're competing against each other. Do you know what I mean? You can like each other when you retire.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, when you're boxing, you don't hate each other.
It's not about hating each other, right? It's just not liking each other. Do you know what I mean?
Just like
going,
yeah,
but you don't need to shake his hands and give him a hug and say, "Well done" after the fucking race. Like, dickhead, beat me. You know.
I think they're afraid of that now. I think seems like they want them to be all friendly and nice and PR and the moment you say something bad about somebody else, then it's so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I miss the old rivalries, like
Mm-hmm.
and I miss it, Joe. So Pecco said this.
Right,
well, let me go see fucking Pecco and punch him. Do you know what I mean? Do you want to come follow us?
By the way, I found out if you wonder why can't tell me it hasn't had an effect. That why did Quartararo sign for Yamaha? We were talking about money, and he spent a lot of money, bought the cars and bought everything. You know what else he bought?
What?
He started up a fashion company. That cost buku bucks.
And Jake, none of these fucking celebrities start up fashion businesses. Come on, for fuck's sake! You're a businessman. You're a businessman. Huh?
But it's cost
no. It's not costing him anything. He's the brand face.
Yeah.
He's not a fucking hope is he going to be going. He's not going to put in. He's not that fucking stupid to put everything in. He's not though. He knows he's the brand. He knows he can get other people to stump up their money using his face. He might put in a few million into it. Yeah, fine. That's a small amount of money, but he's going to be getting majority of fucking. Yeah, no.
I can see the cars and stuff. That everybody does that.
Rented.
Oh, rented. What about the jet?
Yeah.
Rented.
Still getting around the
rented.
jet.
Okay.
Yeah. And he bought
Listen,
the jet.
I go watch football a lot with my young fella, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we see the players coming out every week, right? Now these guys are on 40, between 30 and 100,000 euros or pounds a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Salary. And every week they have a different car. Right? And I was once like kind of thinking, they bought this car now this week and this car that week. And then a fella showed me, he's like, if you look down normally towards the bottom left-hand corner of the boot, you'll see a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a rental car. From a rental car company. And he says, what car do you want to drive this week? Or what car do you want to drive this week?
Exotic rentals.
Exactly. And then some of them, if they're big enough, they'll get the car off the company for free to be seen in there. So, and then when the fellas are renting it, that becomes tax deductible as a rental, as a business cost. So their transportation costs them nothing. Whereas if they go and buy a Porsche, which most of them can do, and they pay the fucking $150,000, it's cost them $150,000.
They did actually a non-motorcycle company that did a story on him for how much money he spent. They were going, this guy's going.
I can't find that article anywhere, Jake. And I've looked. No, I haven't. I've looked in Forbes. I can't find it.
Well, it's a Forbes Lake thing, whatever the hell it is. It was on the internet.
Send me on, and I'll believe
I know. I'm just too damn
I
lazy to dig. To be honest with you.
I can find anything on the internet, anything. I can't find that story. So I take it with a pinch of salt. I don't believe Forbes.
Did you see anywhere where he bought the jet and all that?
I heard he rented the jet. I didn't hear that he bought it.
See, I read he had bought it.
No, I heard that he rented the jet, or chartered the jet, I should say. But yeah, look, he is fine to spending money. Don't get me wrong. He likes to party and this, that, and the other. And look, he's fucking young and he's dumb and he has loads of money and he's supposed to. And the partying hasn't affected his performance on the track, which is the most important thing. So,
no. I think that's why he signed. It makes sense that he signed for that. I can see a kid doing that.
Yeah,
I think he signed because of your man Bartoloni. I genuinely think
that helped a lot. Yeah,
I think he genuinely believes Bartoloni, because Bartoloni has said like he's still trying to understand the current Yamaha, its strengths, its weaknesses. So like that tells me in development that they were now this was 6 or 8 weeks ago, so a lot could have changed. But like,
I like him a lot. Man, the Yamaha fed him a bill of goods for how many years?
Huh?
How many years did they feed him?
Well, he's only in the door since January now, so we give him a bit of time. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm telling this. You know, he must be Bartoloni must be a hell of a salesman, or Quadraro likes him a lot because Yamaha gave him such a
no. So Bartoloni,
they wrote him such a bill of goods that you'd think he was out the door. I would think.
Who was Bartoloni?
Bartoloni's the that was used to work for Ducati.
It was Ducati's right hand man, or Gigi's right hand man. So you're bringing this guy in. That would bring an awful lot of confidence to any rider that this guy understands the vehicle dynamics of the most dominant motorbike in years on the grid. Now, how do you change? And you go from that to a Yamaha and you're like, okay, so it's going to take him time, but I think he has confidence. You can see an awful lot of those structures changing. The likes of Dallara as well, that's a big thing in the aero. Like that's a big company to bring in. Like that's not going to finding like a Chinese Apple. That's actually bringing Apple into the picture. Do you know what I mean? It's a reputable brand to be bringing in there. You know, and it's a brand that are used to combining aerodynamics and motorsports and motor vehicles and vehicle dynamics together. So I think there's a lot in that relationship that is good for Yamaha.
Yamaha is actually doing more than Honda is. Honda just looked busy at it. If you get my
I think from my view, Honda have just thrown parts at it in order to hope that something will stick. And they're not necessarily understanding what they're doing. But I think Yamaha are moving too slow. You know, I would expect to see, like we saw the front wing at Jerez, and they raced it this week. Do you know what I mean? They tested it the week before in Mugello.
Right.
Well, do you know what I mean? Then they went to Le Mans? Or no, was it last week they tested it and they brought it? So it just needs to happen a little bit faster, in my view. Do you know what I mean? They have openish testing. Do you know what I mean? That openish, because it's more than everyone else. So like that should have been running in Japan or fucking wherever, and a decision should have been made after Jerez. Are we going to run it for Le Mans? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
why don't they just throw it on there? I don't get it. Try it out.
It is a bit of a tricky thing, all right, to be fair, but the way things are going is that they have in the concessions, they have 2 aerodynamic updates in the year. So you do want to be right when you're doing the aero update. I get it, right? But if the test riders are back-to-backing the old aero from race day in Jerez and the new one, they should be able to make a decision there and then. Do you know what I mean? Not wait, okay, till we get to Mugello and see, right? Because you could change between. So if I run wing A and then I upgrade to wing B, I can go back to wing A if I want to at any time, or I can stay to wing B. Do you know what I mean? I don't have to stick in that one direction.
Mm-hmm.
In Honda and Yamaha's thing, they will have wing A, wing B, and wing C because they're allowed to make 2 upgrades within the year. So, but yeah, look, I think Yamaha are just getting a little bit too cautious, and I prefer to see them pushing on a small bit more. I would say.
I told you. Everybody said no. I said Yamaha's going to win the Japanese Cup by the end of the year. You wait and see.
Take out Fabio Quartararo and Joan Mir, and we'll see how close it will be. But I think it will be fucking terrible. And that's the Japanese Cup is the second riders, and we'll see exactly where the second rider finishes, and it'll be horrific. They will be so far behind the second rider of each other manufacturer. It will be just
It's all about 2 points. It's 2 points there.
Between Yamaha and Honda, which one do you think will be the absolute bottom?
Which I think it's going to be Yamaha.
I don't. Yeah.
Unless there's something fucking big, it's fucking huge. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, unless Bartoloni finds something big, like realistically, like the interview Bartoloni gave was like, this year is written off because they don't understand the bike. He doesn't understand the bike yet. He doesn't understand the potential of the bike.
Mm-hmm. It's just like Ducati, right? Like when Ducati was developing, like, you know, when Gigi came in and they really started developing the bike, they focused on power first, right? And then they started trying to turn it, right?
Well, yeah, Ducati were always focused on power first, and that was one of the things that even Stoner said. You never forget about the chassis and whatever. Do we have enough power down the straight?
The power.
It was kind of interesting, but now it's such a different ball game. Such a different ball game to what it used to be. Because like back then it was the tires, the chassis, the engine, the suspension. Now we have the tires, the chassis, the engine, the suspension, aero, all of that stuff. So it's all different. But anyway, sure. Look, Mugello this week. Can't wait to see that. How fast will they go at the end of the straight?
Yep.
Will they touch? What is it? 370.
Who had the top speed in
70
Catalunya?
I don't know.
I think it was I want to say Pedro. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like 370 or something. But he was in the draft though, so you know. But
you can check it. Can't
I'm curious. I'm curious to see who has the top speed in Mugello though.
I bet you it's KTM. Boy, they look so strong.
Mm-hmm.
You see how far they? I mean, that thing had grunt like all day. Like it just. I bet the Ducati riders are not used to seeing that. Like, what? Whoa!
Right, somebody kind of.
Hey, what's going on here?
Passing them on the straight, yeah.
Yeah.
So fastest maximum. Let's qualify. Sorry, one sec.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
In the race today, the top speed was. Fastest lap sequence. Nope.
I remember seeing it in the sprint though. I was thinking of the sprint where
I can have a look at the sprint and see is it in there, but I don't think it gives the
because they're more wide open. I feel like in the sprint, they're like,
No, it only gives fastest lap in qualifying.
Qualifying.
Or fastest top speed on the results in qualifying, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let me have a look. Maximum speed. So maximum speed in qualifying 2, Pedro Acosta, 352 kilometers an hour.
Okay. Yeah.
Now look, lads, that's still fucking fast, like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't try to lick an ice cream at 352 kilometers an hour, do you know what I mean? But, I think it's Mugello is that little bit longer, do you know what I mean? And I think it's going to be interesting. Will they get to?
Is that one of the longest? That's one of the longest straights, isn't it?
It's one of the longest straights. But let me see if I can find out what was the fastest speed in Mugello last year.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see, and people at home can have a look on qualifying day.
I think it was 365.
That was 365, 366. 355 was Jorge Martin in qualifying. In a race, there is probably more with the draft and that, but still 355 kilometers an hour. It's quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's very quick, but look, it is one of my favorite places as well, Mugello, to go to. Hopefully there'll be a good crowd. It's going to be. I think Jorge Martin is going to be out to do to Pecco, what Pecco did to him in Spain. You know what I mean? Hey, motherfucker, you're in Italy now. I'm going to beat you. But it's going to be a good race. Hard to predict who's going to win, though.
I don't know.
I think I know.
When you got Pecco and Martin running together at the end of a race, it always seems to be either Pecco wins or Pecco falls. One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a dopey slide off.
Mm-hmm.
How many times
Low side
fell down just being out in the middle of nowhere? I never. Yeah. I can't think of another rider that I can say. As good as he is, I can't remember another rider who's fell so many times out of nowhere. And up, he's down.
Yeah.
It's all wrapped up and he falls down. He just lacks concentration or something.
He has to find that balance. It seems like he likes to be in the open because he can run his lines, but I think he pushes too hard. When you're in the open, you can push a little bit harder, but you kind of got to, tone it down a little bit. You don't want to push too hard and fall, which that's what it seems like is happening. I don't know. Well,
he needs adrenaline running. You ever see a lot of guys? They slow down, they fall down.
Yeah, but Pecco wasn't slowing down. He didn't when he fell down. He was going faster. You know what I mean? So he is. You're right. He is one of those riders that you don't know what Pecco is going to come out this morning, but he is going to be fast or he's going to be in the gravel. And you can put up with that to a certain point, And this is what makes Pecco different from Maverick. Maverick, you can put up with. He could be fast and win the race, or he could also be 15th.
Right. That's a big gap.
Do you know what I mean? I would prefer someone in the gravel battling for first or third than scoring 1 point, and you're like, you scored 1 point, and do you know how much fucking engine mileage you used for fucking nothing?
Wear and tear.
Exactly. So, so look, we have TT this week. We have Mugello this week. It's Motorsport Mecca. I'm going to call it for the next 2 weeks. And then it's just going to be absolutely class. Give me a winner of Sunday's race in Mugello.
I'm going with Pecco. We know, yeah. Sprint, I may say Martin for the sprint, but Pecco for the main race. This is his home, and he normally does good in Mugello, so I already know he's gonna do well. So.
Okay, I'm going to be very, very different.
You always are. He's going to go Binder or something. I know. Binder says.
No, since I bitched about him, I'm going to go with Maverick.
What are you, nuts?
Absolutely not. Yeah, sure, why not? I could be a fucking sheep like the two of you and go Pecco. Okay, I'll Pecco.
You ain't using my money when you go to. You ain't using my money when you go to Vegas. That's for sure shit. You know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we will see next Sunday.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, we will wrap it up. Thank you once again, lads, for joining, and for everyone else. And we will catch you again after the Mugello Grand Prix, or the Italian Grand Prix of Mugello, whatever the fuck it is. Next one.
What you think? Who's gonna win?
Maverick. Maverick. Imagine if he actually wins, how much shit you're going to eat for the rest of your life. I'd be like, Jake, give me your millions to go to Vegas.
The race. And for those guys on MotoGP Mac and kiss my dago ass.
100%. You will never live it down if he does win it. Anyway, have a good week, folks, and we'll see you again next week.
All right.